Okay, even though I share most of my name with Anna Karenina, I mean, not most of it, Anna, the first name, and then K, Anna K, Anna K. Yes, okay, I get it. I hate her. I hate her. She's my nemesis. Yes, she's a fiction character. Mind your business. Why do you care who I hate? Isn't it better that she doesn't live and that she never lived? I mean, we should all just hate fiction characters and not real people. Well, you know what I mean. I hate her. And when I was discussing the book in book club, I hated her. And one of the members of book club was like, "Well, she's a feminist. This is feminism. This is not feminism. She's insane. She's insanely selfish. Everyone is in her way at all times. They're like inconveniences, like for no reason. It's like as if you were walking on the street and you're like, oh, traffic lights. Like, yes, traffic lights, so you don't die. I don't know what, like, she infuriated me. So even though we share a first name, I think that's about all we share. But her character has two men. I was going to say not at the same time, but actually, yes, exactly that. But not get your mind out of the gutter. But, I mean, keep it slightly in the gutter. So she is married to Karin, and she has this affair with Bolonsky, I think is his name. If I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry. But the gist of the story is that, and it's a great book, you should actually read it, but what does she complain about? And what does this all have to do with Lord Byron except my growing obsession with him? That has nothing to do with his poetry. He'd be so annoyed. He's like, how about you read my poems more often than you talk about me? No, sorry. But he's an interesting character to talk about, and he's an interesting archetype that happens again and again in history, but he's just the encapsulation of so many bad things in one, but in a weird package. Anyways. So she complains. The book starts and she complains about her husband, and he's not emotional. He's very detached. He's very like going to work, putting money on the table. That's kind of the character he is. And the Bolonsky is much more passionate, but he turns bad by the end too. Everyone does in some ways. Not everyone. Those two characters do, but that's kind of the juxtaposition, which is like the logic, which Anna hates. She hates logic. Logic hates to see her coming, and she hates to see logic coming. Like, she hates it. She goes only off emotions. 2000%. Like, even before she was born and after her death, it was just emotions. But, so she complains about her husband being too detached and that there's this passion there because he's more intense and he sees her and whatever. I'm not a psychologist, and we can all thank our lucky stars that I'm not a dating coach, but I am a poet, so I'm going to tell you how to write a love letter like Bolonsky if you're more the Karin type. You should not marry an Anna. Nobody should. I mean, not the name itself, but the archetype of that character. Also, before you're gonna roast me in the comments about this, the book and the movie are different. And I've talked to people who've only watched the movie and never read the book. Anna in the book and versus Anna in the movie is very different, and she's much more likable in the movie from the stories I've heard about her. I was like, that's not the same girl. It's not the same woman we're talking about. I'm talking about the selfish wreck, and you're talking about like the confused woman. We're not talking about the same person. So, why do we bring up Lord Byron? Because I think you can also reference my Lord Byron video, but I also think so there was this interesting someone, I don't know who said it, but said when women tell you, oh yeah, I need you to talk more, I need you to be more emotional, they don't mean I need you to cry more and I need you to speak more about yourself. It's more so like I need more compliments and how much you love me. And I don't disagree with that statement. And it's the same with intensity, because the guy had intensity for his hobbies. He was not intensity. Karin didn't have a lot of intensity, to be fair, but there was something with horse riding, and this is all a blur. I read it like a year ago, but it's stuck in my mind. And he didn't have that intensity with her anymore, and that was her thing. Now, I don't think you should marry someone like Anna Karenina. Please don't. Do yourself a favor. I mean, I'm not a dating coach, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say don't take a paper plane and try to fly it to the moon. Like it's not gonna get you there. But if you're gonna write a love letter and you feel like you're too stoic, and maybe I'm thinking about it currently. Just had the thought. Maybe I'll do how to write a love letter like a stoic and how to implement that, because there's some people who want a love letter but maybe not as emotionally charged. I mean, there's women who are not as emotionally charged. There's definitely more emotional women and less emotional women. The same way there's more like aggressive, not in the sense of like physically aggressive in the sense of like you're beating everyone up, but aggressive as in like personality trait, men and less aggressive men. Like it's not just a monolith, like there are variations within even within that. But anyways, maybe if you request it, let me know in the comments. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Don't just shout it in the room and assume me to know. But what would Karin have had to do to write like Bolonsky? Not have married Anna, but except my own personal beef with this character that does not exist. He would have had to be more like with her, because he was very much practical, and I'm not like, this is not the psychology rundown, but he was very practical. He was very kind. He was very like logical, and you do this and then you do this and you live your life this and then this, and you don't go off of this, you don't go off of emotion. He was very stoic. Stoic is the perfect word for it. And he wasn't really there. He wasn't like, oh, you look so nice, you look so beautiful. This is the whole appeal of Lord Byron. I think it's interesting because when you think of Lord Byron, or when some people think of Lord Byron, you think of women looking at him. But actually, what I think Lord Byron, for the most part, like his huge appeal, except that he was good looking, was that it wasn't women looking at him, it was women looking at themselves through his lens, which was the appeal, which was the like, what would he say about me kind of thing. I think that's his huge, because he was good looking, but he really was. But there was something, you just don't get to that amount of intensity that he had. I mean, he essentially was the first actual celebrity ever. You don't get to that intensity with just good looks. I mean, you just don't. Especially with women, but in general, I don't believe in that. I think there's just something with energy as well, but not just only energy. But again, I think the myth of Lord Byron, I've said that in multiple videos now, is that it's not you're looking at him and admiring, it's that you're thinking of what he thinks. And you're like, oh, would he like this about me? Would he like... And you think, when you think of Lord Byron, which I often do at this point, you think of him complimenting you. Like Lord Byron, obviously because he's a poet and he's in love with love, and he's a little bit too in love with love. Like many poets, he never stops falling in love, even when he should. It's like, you are already in love. How about you don't fall in love while you're in love? I don't know, just a suggestion. But yeah, but that's his appeal, is that like you see yourself through his eyes. And he's also a very interesting person, but there's this appeal of like, you don't think of Lord Byron and think of him thinking, oh, those thighs don't match. That like, you think of him so intensely in these emotions and so intensely with you that he's not measuring you up. Why is this important in comparison to Karin and Bolonsky? Because Karin gives the impression that he is measuring you up, because he's measuring life up, and he might have not been measuring Anna up. He should have been, but he might have not been. But he gives the impression of this like very stoic, like, is your face proportionate? Do you make sense? What do you give to me? Like, it feels so dry and non-emotional. It's not his fault. He was like, Anna was how she was, and nobody should treat anyone like Anna treated him. Yes, I'm still talking about fiction characters as if I know them, but but you get this impression, whereas with someone who's more emotional, who's more intense, who is more like, when someone is like leaning into you, you're not thinking, oh my god, they're measuring me up. But when someone's like leaning out and being then you think they're measuring you up. They're measuring you through and trying to figure you out. And he also didn't have a sense of humor, because you get that impression with Oscar Wilde that like he's measuring you up and he's very much judgmental. I am too. I am too. But I mean, to a next level he is. And but he's funny. And so with Oscar Wilde kind of gets away with it the same way comedians get away with it, where he's funny and clever enough that he gets to make these crazy observations or something. Someone said something about comedians, like if comedians weren't funny, they'd be hit in the head a lot or something like that, because they say things that are so true but such on a deep level. Good comedians anyways. So how do you do that? How do you create that? How do you do that? Irrational compliments. Go off of your emotions. And you're like, but I'm a stoic person. Okay, think of the compliment. Okay, let's say her eyes look nice, okay? Why? You're like, I don't know, bitch, because her eyes look nice. I don't know what you want me to say. The shade of blue. Joe, why did you swear at me? Joking. What you want to do is ask yourself what it makes you feel. So, like, think of a logical compliment and then reduce it to its feelings. So instead of saying, oh, you have pretty eyes, the feeling would be, I want to stare at your eyes all day because it relaxes me. Your eyes are like looking into, not the sun because that's blinding and bad for your eyes, but it's like a warm beach day, it's relaxing, or it's exciting, it's like a, I can't think of an appropriate metaphor. You think of your own, okay? But these kind of things. So because you are more logical, that's fine. You write the compliment, or you think of the compliment. It can also be a personality one, like she's funny. Okay, what's the emotion? I'm glad I get to relax in humor when my whole day is filled with logicality. Now, don't change your whole personality. Like, you are probably going to write still a little bit more stoic than someone who's not. But just going that extra level of like, there's the physical thing, and here's why I like the physical thing is actually, I think, really, really cute. And it can be weird, too. I mean, it can be weird. You can take it any way you'd like. I'm going to leave that up to your imagination. I mean, the feelings can be odd. Feelings tend to be in different ways. Okay, go check out the books that I wrote. And yeah, if you also have a beef with a fictional character, please let me know in the comments. Are you a question or an answer? The fools who think to stand alone with an idea is scary. Are the same that see comfort in the majority. But if the majority was right, no one would write. No one would think to raise a pencil to each of the new empty papers. Nobody would want to turn paper into pages. Because the peace a writer searches for in a blank page would be found in the world. The discussion of right or wrong is subjective, yet, most of the time, the ideas we love would fade away as quickly as everybody else. We love to be loved, but don't love to be questioned. Yet, wouldn't you rather be a question everybody answers differently than an answer nobody knows? They might never see you, and you might never see them. They might never see you. They might never hear the disappointment in your silence. They might never know the sentences you want to say but don't in fear of sounding like a broken record. They might never see all the insecurities you don't point out to them because you're scared they will stand out to them now too. They might never see the small changes in your pupils when you look at them because they never see your eyes when you don't look at them. They might never see you outside of the context of them. They might never hear the small sighs in the morning when you start another day trying to be better but being pretty sure you will fail. They will never hear the songs you skip because they make you too emotional. They will never hear all the things you think are so clear but you never said to them. You might go through life hearing different reviews of the series of books which is your life, none true, but some quite inventive and far-fetched. You might never be seen or heard the way you crave to be. But maybe you will, and that maybe makes it exciting. That small string of maybes might hold you up. It is what makes you go out on yet another another date you hate to get dressed, to get to know someone outside of their home, to try to talk. The small maybe is what we live for. The small maybes of life. Maybe I'll run into the love of my life. Maybe the career I love will love me back. Maybe this life is worth another try, she says, with a small but sharp sigh. So quiet that only another maybe could hear it. And maybe someday the two maybes turned their sighs into laughter and their ears into their most used part themselves. Who knows? Maybe. Even horrible things have to start. What's the point of trying if all I do is wrong? He thinks the second part of the sentence, why am I guilty until proven innocent? I am a New York journalist. My birthday is on the 24th of December 1994. I just turned 30. It's Christmas and I'm alone in all the ways a soul can be and a body cannot be. I am 1 meter 95, 58 centimeters. Or in feet, that's 6 feet 5 inches. I know I shouldn't be so exact, and to be honest, I'm not even such a numbers guy. But that's partially how the world has defined me. And since it's one of the few positive traits I get complimented on, I keep it close. Like a lonely woman and her Birkin. I swear I'm not as shallow as I sound, he says to his date, Annabelle, who clearly is just as annoyed at life as he is. They both do the first date angry tango. They both thought at least twice, well, you seem nice. Why are you still single? But what they actually ended up saying was, what do you bring to the table? He says. His date replies, nothing. We are at a restaurant, so last I checked, that's the waiter's job. Then she fell into a laugh so deep you would have thought she was a comedian who just hit a comedic home run. That was the first page and one sentence of the second page of my fiction book. It's called The Great Souls Disconnect. If you also just look up my name, Anna Cobbler, I will put it here how to type it. Also, it's my username. You can check it out on Amazon. It's available on Kindle and hardcover. Look at this cover. I hope you enjoyed those trailers of my books, and if you want to read on, order them on Amazon. Everything is linked in the description, always. And you can also always look it up under my name, Anna Cobbler. Thanks.